Okay, Jeremy, it's time for us now to start with our mini CX. I believe you're all healthy, but unfortunately, that we are entering the limitations to mobile by the regulation that was just applied by our government as the second PSBB.
Yes,
So it's an unfortunate for you not to be able to come to hospital, as we are all in hospital also very cautious, and we are afraid that you are not really well protected in the current week that it's a continuation process after several weeks that we got cases in our city, especially in our province, increases quite much. So then here's the time for us to have the mini CX. Have you ever joined the mini CX before?
yes, but not in this module, but in the foundation of clinical practice, because not every module have the mini CX.
Oh, so during the FCP, you were assessed by mini CX.
Yes,
Did you meet the patients?
I meet the patients in the pediatric wards.
Okay, it's good to know that. So it's not the first time for you to join the mini CX.
Yes,
Yes. Okay. So as I understand, previously you mentioned that you are happy to have this mini CX because it's part of your assessment to know the progress of your learning, and especially with this current difficulty and difficult situations for us during the pandemic. I think still we try to find out how you progress through this mini CX. So you understand that this mini CX is part of formative assessment, it's not summative assessment. All
yes,
right,
doctor.
good. So do you recognize what sort of points that you are going to be assessed?
Anamnesis and actually anamnesis and physical examinations, doctor, and clinical judgment, I think.
Okay, so I see that you are freezed. I'm not quite sure who is which part of the problem? Oh, okay, now I see you back. My connections.
Yeah. Uh, I don't think so. I think it's also mine. But shall we continue? I think it's okay now.
All right. So if you recall back the form that we have in our Faculty of Medicine, it's not only about the history taking and physical exam and also the clinical decision making, but also about the professionalism, which is also called as the quality of the humanistic quality, yeah, in terms of the relationship with the patients. Then the decision making, of course, we have also the chance to assess you with the skills of counseling and also with the organizations, the efficiency during the interactions with patients. But I believe there will be chances for me to discuss it with you after these interactions because we do not have patients. So the patient would be just virtual, and it's not really virtual by the existence of real patients, but I'm going to show you a case. All right. So
Yes.
don't worry. Among the 7 points that you are going to be assessed, if there are rooms that I couldn't see that I would be able to assess your skill, then we would skip that. So we would uh, get the assessment. I mean, I will assess the points that I could observe it from the interactions. Okay, let me just share a slide as part of this mini CX. Okay, so hopefully it gives you like, appetite to go for the mini CX. So no need to feel stress. So it's a patient who is basically only in the 7th grade. Then the patient came with the parents. But I better revise it. I think I could just adjust it into adult patient, young adult patients, let's see, about 18 years old, because it's quite complicated if I give you a case where the patient is a kid, a child with parents. The interaction would be not really good because it's quite complicated to see two parts. So I would present as if I were the patient, that young patient, young boy, 18 years old. Okay. I come with my parents, but my parents just stay outside because I myself want to come to visit my doctor by myself, but my parents are already at the outside. So remember, I'm only 18 years old, okay? And this is my first chance to visit the clinic. So meaning that the medical record in the electronic is still blank, only the ID is there and also some notes with the chief complaint, but then you could explore it. Okay?
Okay, Doctor.
So basically the medical record start from zero, only with the ID, but you could explore it by the existence of the patient, which I played role as the patient.
Okay, Doctor. So shall we begin?
So I do not see you moving. Guess connection problem by now. Let me just wait for some moment.
Can you see me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can see you still freeze, but I can hear your voice. Would you move your eyes or head a bit?
I already moved my head, but is it still freeze or it's moving now?
Okay, now it's back. Yeah, okay, it's back. All right, so anything you want to ask before we really start?
So I should treat this interaction as like the real patient-doctor interaction, right, Doctor?
Yes, yes.
Yes, so could I use Bahasa instead?
Of course. Of course, you need to use Bahasa Indonesia.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
Okay.
So,
I actually were around in the same room with you, but I kept silence. But then my assistant, I could exchange positions, playing role as a patient or being myself as the doctor who supervised you or who assessed you. So meaning that it's going to be also always a chance for you to take refugee, sure, no, not refugee, of course, to take, actions by asking my presence to be in the positions of guaranteeing the interaction between you and the patients.
okay, doctors. So
Okay.
just act like this is a normal consultations, right?
Yes, and I could, exchange position if necessary.
Okay, got it.
You could drive the situations. So the last point that I would like to assure you, now you were playing as if you were a doctor, as an assistant to a consultant surgeon in this clinic.
Okay.
The clinic name is Virtual Mini-CX Clinic.
Okay, doctor.
All right. Okay.
Shall we begin?
So let me just talk. Yes, please.
Okay. Selamat siang, Pak.
Oh, no. I will start.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now the patients come. Selamat siang. Hai, Mas. Apa kabar, Mas?
Ya, baik. Selamat siang. Ini dengan Dr. Jeremy yang bertugas di Poli hari ini. Ini dengan
No, I didn't mean that. So I will start the interaction with the patients. Then I will allow you to start when I give you green light to start.
Oh, okay. Okay.
All right. So I repeat. Selamat siang, Mas. Mari silakan masuk. Silakan duduk. Ya, saya Dr. Teddy, dokter bedah sebagai dokter yang bertanggung jawab untuk pelayanan poliklinik pada sore hari ini. Dan bersama saya hari ini adalah dokter muda Jeremy yang menemani saya dan akan memberikan bantuan untuk Anda di sini. Saya lihat Anda tampak segar, sehat. Bagaimana perjalanan tadi? Tidak ada macet, Dok. Hanya saja saya dapat jam untuk perjanjiannya memang sore, Dok. Oke, baiklah. Baik, Dokter Jeremy bersama saya akan memulai memberikan servis pelayanan kepada Anda dan Anda boleh berespon. Saya tetap akan berada di sini untuk memastikan bahwa pelayanan oleh Dokter Muda Jeremy berlangsung dengan baik dan Anda Dokter Jeremy, silakan.
Baik, selamat pagi, selamat sore Mas. Ini dengan Dokter Jeremy yang bertugas di Poliklinik hari ini. Dengan Mas siapa?
Nama saya Agung, dokter muda ya.
Iya, saya dokter muda di sini. Ya, Mas
Ya,
Agung.
nama saya
Ya, Mas Agung datang ke sini sama siapa?
dengan orang tua saya, Dok.
Oh, dengan orang tua ya. Tinggalnya di mana, Mas?
Saya tinggal tidak jauh di Jatinegara sini, Dok.
Di
Dekat
Jatinegara
saja.
ya. Mm-mm. Sekarang umurnya berapa, Mas?
18.
18. Berarti apa masih sekolah atau udah kerja, Mas?
Saya masih kelas 3 SMA, Dok. Jadi
Oh, masih
kebetulan,
kelas SMA.
iya, kebetulan tertinggal dengan teman-teman saya. Teman-teman saya sudah ada yang kuliah, Dok.
Mm-mm. Kelas 3 SMA ya. Kalau boleh tahu agamanya apa, Mas Agung?
Agama saya Islam, Dok.
Islam ya. Terus boleh tahu nggak kalau datang ke sini keluhannya apa?
Ini, Dok, saya nggak nyaman dengan keluhan tangan kanan saya ini ada hitam-hitam ini, Dok.
Oh, keluhan ini di tangan kanan ya, Mas ya. Ini sudah sejak
Iya.
kapan warna hitamnya?
Kalau dengar cerita dari orang tua sejak lahir, Dok.
Apakah dia tambah besar atau segitu-segitu aja, Mas?
Saya sih melihatnya sepanjang yang saya ingat ya segini-segini aja sih.
Segitu-segitu aja ya, Mas ya. Jadi Mas datang ke sini dengan keluhan ada eh, warna hitam di di punggung tangan yang rasanya mengganggu ya, Mas ya.
Iya, Dok.
Mm-mm. Apakah ada nyeri, Mas, di situnya?
Nggak ada.
Nggak ada ya. Selain itu ada keluhan lain nggak, Mas?
Nggak ada sih. Cuma saya pingin punya pacar, Dok. Tapi nggak enak, Dok. Ada hitam-hitam di tangan ini, Dok.
Tangan yang paling sering digunakan tangan kanan atau kidal, Mas? Masnya.
Maksud dokter bagaimana itu, Dok?
Mas kalau nulis pakai tangan apa?
Kanan.
Kanannya. Lalu kalau misalnya rasa kesemutan atau baal di tangan begitu, pernah nggak, Mas?
Nggak ada sih, kecuali kalau salah tidur aja.
Mm-mm. Terus selain ukurannya nih, Mas, bentuknya, warnanya pernah berubah nggak, Mas, atau begini-begini aja?
Sepertinya sih saya nggak terlalu yakin sih, Dok. Tapi ya makin jelas aja hitamnya.
Mm-mm. Pernah ada luka nggak, Mas, di daerah situ sebelumnya atau emang begitu aja, Mas?
Nggak.
Nggak pernah ada ya. Berarti memang ini murni warna hitam di punggung tangan yang warna sama bentuknya kurang lebih nggak berubah ya, Mas ya. Dan nggak ada nyeri juga di situ ya.
Iya.
Terus ada rambut nggak ya, Mas, di situ kadang-kadang?
Ada sih, Dok. Tapi ya nggak terlalu nggak terlalu panjang sih, ada sih kalau dilihat untuk rambutnya loh.
Nggak terlalu panjang ya, ada sebagian aja ya berarti ya. Mm-mm.
Iya,
Habis itu masnya ada ada riwayat penyakit sebelumnya nggak mas yang bikin dirawat di rumah sakit mas?
nggak pernah.
Nggak pernah ada ya, nggak pernah rawat di rumah sakit ya.
Nggak.
Selain itu gula ada nggak mas, penyakit gula?
Gula, oh penyakit gula, nggak ada dok.
Nggak ada ya. Diabetes,
Nggak ada dok.
darah tinggi
Bedanya
juga nggak ada ya.
bagaimana dok?
Darah tinggi ada mas?
Nggak ada.
Nggak ada
Cuma
ya.
saya heran aja, gula dengan diabetes, bedanya apa dok?
Mm-mm. Oh, jadi penyakit diabetes itu karena biasanya umumnya orang bilangnya penyakit gula karena gulanya tinggi. Jadi seringnya dibilangnya penyakit gula. Sama diabetes kurang lebih kalau di awam di orang-orang kita bilangnya sama lah kurang lebih mas. Mm-mm. Terus di keluarga ada nggak yang kira-kira ada apa perubahan warna hitam di punggung tangan kayak begini ada nggak? Atau misalnya ada kelainan kulit lainnya mas ada nggak di keluarga? Ya mas,
Iya, nggak ada dok keluarga, nggak ada yang punya seperti ini dok.
keluarga nggak ada ya. Kalau gitu benar-benar nggak ada yang punya kelainan kulit ya mas ya?
Nggak ada dok.
Nggak ada ya. Selain di tangan kanan, tangan kirinya nggak ada masalah mas?
Nggak apa-apa, nggak ada apa-apa.
Nggak ada apa-apa ya. Apakah sudah pernah dibawa berobat sebelumnya mas? Sebelum ini tangannya?
Belum.
Belum pernah ya. Setelah itu apakah uh, Mas sendiri berarti belum pernah mengobati tangannya ya atau udah pernah dicoba cara lain gitu yang sebelum ke dokter?
Belum.
Belum ya. Habis itu Mas Mas sendiri ini kan pelajar ya Mas. Berarti eh, sekarang pembiayaan masih dari orang tua atau gimana Mas?
Pakai BPJS dok.
Pakai BPJS ya datang ke sini ya. Kalau gitu boleh boleh oh ya masnya merokok nggak mas?
Hmm, ya sekali-kali dok. Tapi takut sekarang dok. Sejak pandemi ini sudah nggak pernah lagi.
Sejak kapan mas merokoknya dulu?
Sepertinya sejak kelas 1 SMA.
Sejak 1 SMA ya. Biasa merokoknya berapa banyak?
Ya paling 2 batang sehari dok.
2 batang sehari ya. Lalu masnya ada minum alkohol nggak mas?
Ah itu enggak dok.
Enggak
Nggak
ya.
mau saya.
Mm-mm. Baik mas, kalau gitu saya akan lakukan pemeriksaan ya mas di tangannya boleh?
Boleh sih dok.
Boleh ya. Baik, saya akan lakukan pemeriksaan di tangannya. Nah,
Dokter Teddy-nya ingin tahu pemeriksaannya bagaimana. Boleh dideskripsikan dokter muda Jeremy?
baik, Dokter Teddy. Jadi pemeriksaannya ini kita memeriksa pertama adalah status generalisnya dulu, mulai dari tekanan darah, frekuensi nadi, frekuensi napas, dan suhu, dan kesadaran. Tidak lupa juga dicek adanya nyeri. Lalu setelah itu kita langsung memeriksa status vokalis dari pasien sendiri. Dari tangan kita perhatikan inspeksi. Yang pertama inspeksi, kita lihat apakah adanya deformitas pada jari, bisa deformitas pada jari, lalu lihat posisi jarinya dan tangannya apakah ada posisi yang canggung atau tidak. Setelah itu kita lihat apakah tangannya kering atau ada keringatnya untuk memastikan bahwa status neurologisnya baik. Lalu setelah itu kita lihat apakah ada tanda-tanda inflamasi pada tangan. Dan kita inspeksi juga pada ini sepertinya terdapat makula yang berwarnanya hitam. Jadi kita inspeksi secara khusus di situ apakah tepinya bagaimana, warnanya apakah homogen atau tidak, ukurannya dimensinya berapa kali berapa, apakah ada peninggian atau tidak, apakah batasnya reguler atau irreguler, karena bisa menentukan juga apakah dia ganas atau apakah ini lesi jinak. Lalu pada palpasi kita palpasi Pak.
Dokter Muda Jeremy, karena gambarnya sudah ada, Anda boleh membuat deskripsinya lebih jelas daripada sekedar berandai-andai dengan situasi gambar yang ada ini.
Baik, dokter.
Bentar ya.
Baik, saya akan coba deskripsikan. Ini ada, baik, pada pasien ini terdapat makula hiperpigmentasi ukuran sekitar 2 kali 4 cm dengan batas tegas dan warnanya homogen, lalu tidak terdapat peninggian. Setelah itu juga dengan permukaan adanya sedikit rambut pada makula tersebut. Setelah itu kita akan lakukan pemeriksaan fisik. Pemeriksaan fisik ini meliputi dari jari-jari sendiri. Maksud saya palpasi. Palpasi ini yang pertama adalah menentukan status vaskularnya. Vaskular ini bisa kita menilai kompetensi dari arteri pulmonaris dan radialis, bisa dengan Allen's test normal 2-5 detik, lalu untuk periferinya bisa kita gunakan capillary refill time. Capillary refill time di bawah 2 detik, lalu setelah itu kita bisa tinjau status neuronya. Lalu neuronya ada 3 saraf utama yang mengsarafi tangan, yaitu radial, ulnar, dan medianus yang berasal dari setinggi C5 sampai C8. Kita assess pada radialis kita bisa assess motoriknya dengan thumbs up. Lalu untuk medianus bisa dengan fleksi dari jari telunjuk, lalu untuk ulnaris bisa dengan fleksi dari jari manis. Lalu untuk sensorisnya bisa dilakukan, bisa menggunakan kapas dengan mata yang dipejamkan pada bagian jempol, pada telunjuk, dan juga pada ulnaris, dan pada setiap jari kalau bisa. Lalu itu untuk status neurovaskular yang kita akses melalui pada palpasi tadi. Lalu juga kita lihat apakah ada nyeri, terutama kita palpasi juga pada daerah lesinya, apakah ada nyeri atau tidak. Lalu bisa juga pada lesi yang ganas, tapi ini tidak, harusnya bisa dijumpai juga adanya denyutan yang bisa menandakan adanya suatu vaskularisasi di bawah dari bed makulanya tersebut. Lalu sudah itu untuk inspeksi dan palpasinya.
Baik, saya akan memberikan respons atas gambaran imajinatif yang Anda coba deskripsikan tadi terkait dengan palpasi yang Anda maksud, tapi saya rasa saya juga bisa menjawab maksud Anda dengan fungsi juga. Jadi tidak ada penampilan pucat pada jari-jari ini. Begitu pula pada gangguan sensasi, relatif tidak mengalami perbedaan dengan tangan normal. Lalu fungsi relatif juga tidak ada perbedaan. Dia dapat melakukan gerakan normal oleh karena tangan kanannya juga aktif secara dominan. Itu kira-kira gambaran dari pemeriksaan fisik yang mungkin Anda bisa peroleh. Silakan dilanjutkan.
Baik, setelah itu kita mungkin bisa lakukan pemeriksaan penunjang mungkin dok, mungkin dengan kita kerok dok untuk lesinya bisa kita pastikan lesi ini apakah jinak atau ganas atau bisa juga dibiopsi, tapi saya rasa untuk biopsi belum ada tempatnya pada pasien ini karena lesi.
Mohon maaf, Anda sudah harus kembali ke pasien. Tadi itu merupakan breaking saja untuk membantu. Are you freezing? Nah, momen tadi itu hanya untuk membantu Anda mendapatkan data daripada sekedar berandai-andai, lalu Anda tetap berinteraksinya dengan pasien. Jadi tadi sudah saya anggap selesai tadi bantuan dari data yang bisa Anda bayangkan, lalu itu jawaban atas hasil temuan Anda. Sekarang kembali ke pasien.
Oke, dokter. Baik, Mas Agung.
Ya.
Ya, Mas Agung, terima kasih atas kesediaannya diperiksa tadi. Jadi dari pemeriksaan tadi saya mendapatkan bahwa seluruh status dari Mas Agung ini baik, dari fungsi baik fungsi umum, fungsi tangannya baik semua, Mas. Untuk yang ada di kulit ini, yang warna kehitaman ini, jadi sebenarnya kita kalau dari warna kehitaman ini kita tidak curiga ada sesuatu yang berpotensi untuk menjadi sebuah keganasan pada tangan Mas Agung ini. Sehingga hal yang ada di punggung tangan Mas Agung ini merupakan hal yang lumrah dijumpai dan tidak berbahaya. Oleh karena itu, kita bisa melakukan tindakan selanjutnya nih untuk Mas Agung. Tapi untuk memastikan bahwa ini memang benar-benar tidak berbahaya, kita harus kerok dulu nih Mas Agung, atau kita ambil sedikit buat kita pastikan, kita kirim ke lab dia ini beneran jinak atau ada kemungkinan menjadi ganas. Karena semakin kita tahu ini jinak atau ganas, kita bakal tahu bagaimana cara untuk menghilangkan ini dan membuat Mas Agung bisa lebih pede kembali lah dengan tangannya, Mas.
Dikerok, dok. Dikerok, dok.
Biasanya kita ambil jaringan yang ada di daerah yang berwarna kehitaman itu, baru kita lihat, kita kirim ke laboratorium.
Jadi maksudnya dikerok semuanya sekaligus habis gitu, dok? Maksudnya dikerok semuanya sekaligus habis gitu?
Enggak, kita cuma ambil sedikit aja, habis itu kita lihat dulu kalau misalnya memang ada beberapa pilihan, bisa dikasih salep atau bisa diambil kalau misalnya masnya memang mau.
Ya, saya ikut dokter aja.
Jadi kalau gitu Mas, kita coba ambil dulu ya Mas. Sebenarnya ini secara mikroskop atau di lab gitu, ini sebenarnya apa? Sehingga kita bisa nanti saya bisa tawarkan nih ke Mas pilihannya mau diambil atau mau dikasih salep atau misalnya nanti atau ada perlu tindakan lain, nanti saya bisa kasih tahu ke Masnya. Tapi tenang aja Mas, ini nggak berbahaya harusnya Mas.
Kapan, dok?
Kalau misalnya Masnya siap, kita ada fasilitas di sini buat kita ambil sedikit dari warna hitamnya Mas ini buat kita kirim ke laboratorium Mas. Nanti sekiranya Mas bisa balik lagi kapan Mas?
Oh, jadi nggak bisa sekarang, dok? Saya pulang dulu ya, dok? Saya pulang dulu ya?
Bisa sih. bisa nanti kalau misalnya Mas mau nunggu, kita ambil kita ambil pakai alat, lalu kita bawa ke lab sebentar buat lab baca, lalu ditunggu sebentar untuk lihat kalau misalnya memang dia tidak berbahaya, bisa kita berikan salep aja, Mas.
Oh, jadi habis dikerok,
Habis dikerok,
saya menunggu.
saya menunggu.
Kalau Masnya mau, Mas.
Berapa lama, Dok?
Berapa lama, Dok?
Biasanya sih bisa 1 sampai 2 jam, Mas. Tapi ada yang namanya periksaan potong beku, Mas. Itu sekitar 15 menit. Dan apabila misalnya ini mau diangkat, bisa langsung ditunggu itu. Tapi kalau misalnya yang itu, ini yang di tangannya Mas ini langsung diangkat semua, Mas.
Oh, di
Oh,
dibius
di
atau gimana, Dok? Atau nggak pakai dibius?
Dibius kok, Mas. Dibius, tapi cuma dibius tangan aja. Jadi tangannya nggak jadi lebih nggak berasa gitu, Mas. Tapi Masnya tetap sadar kok, Mas. Nggak sampai yang nggak sadar sama sekali. Bangun-bangun udah selesai.
Jadi saya tidur atau enggak, Dok?
Masnya nggak tidur, Mas. Kita juga, kalau misalnya Mas mau, kita bisa kerjain.
Iya, Dok. Boleh, Dok.
Boleh ya, kalau gitu ya, Mas. Kalau gitu nanti Mas keluar, tunggu sebentar di luar, nanti kami lakukan persiapannya, Mas. Habis itu nanti kalau misalnya udah siap, Mas panggil lagi buat kita coba ambil sampelnya pakai bius lokal, Mas. Jadi cuma di tangannya.
Iya, baik, Dok.
Ada yang mau ditanyain nggak, Mas?
Hmm. Nanti dibuangnya kapan, Dok? Setelah
dibuangnya kapan,
dikerok?
Dok? Setelah dikerok?
Dibuangnya itu nanti kalau misalnya kita udah tahu hasilnya, Mas, tergantung fasilitas yang berapa lama, Mas. Jadi nanti dikabar lagi mungkin sekitar 2-3 hari lagi.
Maaf, Dok. Berapa lama, Dok? Tidak jelas, Dok.
2-3 hari lagi, Mas.
Benar. Iya deh. Boleh, Dok.
Boleh, Dok.
Baik, ada lagi yang ditanyakan?
Nggak ada, Dok.
Nggak ada, Dok.
Nggak ada yang misalnya yang ada. Ya, nanti Masnya bisa cepat hilang yang hitamnya ini biar Masnya pede lagi, biar Mas juga bisa cepat dapat pacar ya, Mas ya.
Iya, terima kasih, Dok.
Baik, terima kasih, Mas.
Baik, saya permisi dulu, Dok.
Bisa permisi dulu, Dok.
Baik.
Oke, Mas Agung.
Oke, Mas Agung.
Ya, jangan berdiri dulu. Saya akan
Saya
menambahkan penjelasan
akan
oleh Dr. Muda Jeremy. Mohon maaf, koneksinya tidak cukup bagus, tapi saya perhatikan tampaknya posisi sekarang koneksi terganggu di sisi Dr. Muda Jeremy, tapi mudah-mudahan masih bisa diikuti. Jadi Mas Agung, pada dasarnya kelainan ini boleh disebut sebagai kelainan jinak. Pada dasarnya
kelainan jinak. Pada dasarnya
bisa langsung dioperasi,
bisa langsung dioperasi,
lalu dibuang, dan langsung dijahit,
dijahit,
Kemudian Mas Agung bisa
Kemudian,
lakukan sementara seluruh jaringan yang
seluruh
ini
jaringannya
akan dikirim ke bagian pemeriksaan
dikirim ke
dengan
bagian
mikroskop.
di pemeriksaan mikroskop.
Kira-kira hasilnya sekitar 10 hari, lambat-lambat sekitar 2 minggu.
Lambat kita 2 minggu.
Mudah-mudahan hasilnya sesuai dengan perkiraan Cina.
Kemudian hasilnya
Nah, untuk operasinya sendiri, karena sekarang sudah sore, kita akan lakukan operasi
sore, kita akan lakukan operasi
pekan depan, karena kebetulan jadwal
pekan
saya
depan karena kebetulan jadwal saya
kasus di bagian tangan
kasus di bagian tangan
baru pekan depan. Nah, untuk
baru
itu
pekan depan. Nah, untuk itu
boleh dipanggil ya orang tuanya, karena saya perlu menjelaskan.
boleh dipanggil ya orang tuanya karena saya perlu menjelaskan.
Oke, baik. Nanti saya lanjutkan. Selanjutnya saya lanjutkan setelah bersama dengan orang tua. Itu ya. Ya, Dok.
Itu ya.
Terima kasih. Saya
Ya,
tunggu
Dok.
dulu di luar ya.
Terima
Tunggu nanti
kasih. Saya tunggu
panggil
dulu
bersama
di
orang
luar
tua.
ya. Tunggu nanti panggil bersama orang tua.
So, Jeremy, I feel Jeremy,
Jeremy,
Yes, Doctor.
I feel bad with the delay because I hear my own voice from your
Okay, I am using the external microphone, so I will mute when I don't speak. It's okay.
Yeah, that's better. So, okay. Now I do not hear my own voice as a feedback from your side. Oh, that's good. Right. Supposedly, if you use the external microphone, sorry, the external speaker, the speaker from your computer, it does not really give feedback like what I'm hearing. I mean, what I'm experiencing now. So if you activate, yes. Now
Yes.
I don't hear. Yeah, it's good now. Not sure why, because it was really disturbing, but that's okay. All right. Now you could hear me?
Yes, I could hear you.
Okay, so the interaction with the patients looks to be good, and I would say that I say that it's excellent from your side because you perform quite confident.
Hello, Doctor. Hello.
This is embarrassing.
Okay.
The connection is really embarrassing.
Yes.
Yeah, I do not know. I mean, I've been desperate for the past.
It's
I've
all
been
right.
exceeding 1 month. Usually, I I mean, usually I was very active. Usually, I was very active with organizing webinars, and almost every week, and every week could be more than 2 or 3. But because of the connection has been poor for the past 1 month, so I stopped organizing my webinar because I used to organize international webinars. And this is embarrassing being disconnected like what you saw, what you just now. But then sorry for that.
Is it the
Okay.
IC Tech, Doctor?
Yeah, but then the connection used the Wi-Fi from the hospital. It's not exclusive to ICTEC, but the hospital.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
I have submitted the what do you call, like, a proposal to get exclusive connection, but forget it. All right. So I repeat that, the interaction that you perform, I mean, when you deal with the patient looks smooth, and also you look confident, and that's good. And you use also quite good lay language while also showing respect to the patients. I mean, it's quite respectful. Although the patient is only 18 years old, but you did not show your superior positions, meaning that you do really give respect the patients properly. Of course, there are points that you need to realize that the patient was only 18 years old.
yes.
Yeah,
I
18 years.
missed that the parents part of the explanations.
Yeah, it was intentionally to be like that, but that's not really like a trap. But that's part of our understanding dealing with, underage. I mean, with minor. So 18 years old is still as considered as minor.
Yes, it is still considered
I see you
pediatric.
freeze again.
It's still
Sorry for that.
considered pediatric patients, I think.
Yeah, it's quite adult, young adult. But then, by law, the patient is still not independent. Decision making should be by the guardians, or would be best by the parents. So it cannot be stand on his own. That's one of an important point for you to recognize. Your anamnesis was quite detailed, even though there are points that were not really necessary, because it's quite obvious that the story was quite clear that the lesion started from birth and went on without any significant changes, just follow the growth of the patient, and it has never been experienced. I mean, he has never been experiencing any incident with that lesion, and it's quite active. And you ask for the dominance, meaning that when the patient was not really understanding about your question, then you clarified it with which hand that he used for writings. But knowing that the problem might not be a big deal for the patient, you could explore it more, whether he has hobbies such as, sport, hobby, or whatever other activities. Let's say if the patient was a basketball hobbyist, then he's playing the basketball with that right hand. It's going to be very good confirmations, not only by a writing activity, that is not really, a problem with the hand.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the physical exam was quite detailed. You try also to get the data that would include also the vascularizations, the sensoric function, and also the motoric function. It's quite comprehensive, although later on you would realize that the patient does not really have a problem with vascularizations. If you look into the digit at the tip, the nail, it's well vascularized, pink in color, meaning that, it's not really get a problem. And confirming it or cross-checking it with the history, the patient did not really get any problem with the functions. His writing using his right hand, yeah. And sensoric check was quite nice for you as the beginner to confirm it, also with the function of the activity. But when you describe it, the activities of checking the function of ulnar nerve, for example, by asking the patients or move the ulnar side of the fingers, was okay, although it does not really have a strong relationship, but basically you check the sensoric function, the motor function, and also the vascularization. It's quite a surprise that although it's not really correct to check it, but it's good to know, to observe you that you have very comprehensive understanding about that. Okay, that's the point. In regards of the professionalism, humanistic performance, I've mentioned that you perform it good. So the decision making, you give the clue that the patient get the understanding the lesion is benign lesion, so that it's not giving information to be worried about the type of the lesion, but your decision making to ask for scratch, it's okay. It's supposed to be not scratch. Never do scratch. Never perform scratch with this lesion. But you was actually targeting or focusing on taking biopsy sample. You look freeze again.
Yes, you are still freezing also in my screen. Okay, it's good now.
Yeah, the biopsy is good. It's not really a problem because of the lacking of knowledge. You need to see more in the clinics, but this is not an issue. The biopsy could be excisional biopsy, meaning that we excise the whole lesion and sending it to pathology to check it as a whole. If we suspect malignancy, then that's the main point to get the biopsy sample. But the biopsy would be performed by incisional biopsy. On the other hand, if the surgeon assess that it's also potential to be excised as a whole, we could also excise it as a whole. That time would need the frozen section, as you mentioned, meaning that the whole lesion would be excised, and then the surgeon would wait for the prompt examination by the pathologist, would need about 1 hour or maybe more. Then information come. This is terrible, connection is smooth, not good.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah. So difficult communicating with poor connection like this. All right, so the surgeon may wait for some moments, an hour or so, and then when the histological exam come to the surgeon, and then the surgeon would make decision whether it needs greater excision or not. But that's not your part. It's okay with that. So I was correcting the information that you give to the patient, but this is just fine. But the lesson that you may take, if you're not really sure about that, you may pen. You may postpone your answer or your explanation to the patients by later on asking for confirmation from the consultant.
Okay.
You are not sure, yeah. Because it may be also over boundary of your capacity when you give decision making where you are not sure. Like that point, you do not really know how long would it take, but then you very confident man, it will take about 2 days and then you will come back. And you're still confused about the way to take the sample, scratching, or what's the meaning of that biopsy. Yeah, it's good to explore with your knowledge, but that time you can stop, not over taking the boundaries of your limit. So knowing our limit is very important. Then how would you react? Baik Mas, saya dulu bagaimana keputusannya, walaupun menurut saya ini dugaan kuat saya ini adalah lesi jinak. Nanti bagaimana terapinya atau keputusannya, dokter Di akan memberikan keputusan. Nah itu bagian dari knowing the limit. Gitu. Alright?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay, so overall the counseling was quite smooth. I think I've been giving you too many points as feedback, but just remember that I give you strong points as your positive part. You may keep it that way, respectful, and also you explore your previous knowledge that you have. I mean the knowledge that you have already in you, but remember that you have to be aware about your own limit, and it's not a problem if you tell the patient that you do not know, and please take for some moments. I will cross-check it with my consultant.
Yes,
In the real practice, it will apply that way. If the consultant is around you, you can call the consultant next door, or you can go through gadget and communicating with the consultant while asking for permission. So don't let the patients just observe you, you do whatever you want to do, but explain it. Oh, maaf ya, tunggu dulu sebentar, saya akan berkonsultasi. That also good, okay?
yes.
All right, so I think that's enough for now.
Okay, Doctor. Thank you very much for the kind feedbacks and inputs.
Okay, now give me a few minutes to give score here, because in the real situation, you have to see directly the score,
Okay.
the marking that I give to you, and then you give also the approval. If you see here the signature, it's not only me to give signature, but also you
Yes.
need to give signature.
I also read in my gadget the form.
Good. Good. Just give me 1 or 2 minutes to fill this form up. All right, Jeremy.
Yes, Doctor.
So here we have to fill up the problem, and the diagnosis, it's in the polyclinic, and the patient was 18 years old. And then the gentleman, new patients with the level of difficulty is basically low. the focus is collecting the data and try to make diagnosis, and also the potential of therapy and also counseling. So it applies to all in terms of the focus. All right?
Yes, Doctor.
In regards of your skills with history taking, I give you A, full A.
Okay, thank you, Doctor.
And then the skills with the examination, I could get the simulations, then I give you B+, but that's fine because of the limitations of the experience.
Yes.
In terms of the humanistic quality, I give you solid A.
Thank you, Doctor.
With the decision making, it's B+.
Yes.
The counseling, once again, it was limited by your experience. I give you B+.
Yes.
I couldn't observe the organization. Usually I would observe how you would deal the data extraction or the data that you get it from the patients or family, and then how you would perform it with the system in the medical record.
Yes.
So it's quite like efficiency. While you're taking the data, you give respect, but you also, make notes in your system.
Yes.
So I couldn't observe that. So overall, with the clinical skills, I give you A-.
Yes.
Then the satisfaction level from my side, I give 9 because we went through quite intensive communication to prepare this mini CX. Your turn would give the level of satisfaction. Then in terms of the written feedback, would be only taking the most points from the feedback that I've give you just now.
Okay. So
All right.
my satisfaction level is 9 because I got the chance of getting inputs and feedbacks from the sessions, and then I could perform what I could do in these limitations during the pandemic sessions. The only limitations in these sessions is only the internet connection. So I think everything gone well, gone smooth, and it's a good opportunity for me to enhance myself, my skills, and then my competence. So the sessions will not stop here, but will make me study further and then practice further, so that when I become a doctor, I will become responsible and become more competent of the patients that I will be handling.
Excellent. All right. So I sent back this form to the office. Then later on, when you get the chance to go back to office, to hospital, you may fill up the level of satisfaction. And also if you want, you can also write down here any feedback you would like.
Sure.
To feedback for me or feedback to the system would be just fine. All right.
Okay, doctor.
Thank you and enjoy your evening.
Thank you very much. Doctor, could we take a photo first before we end the session?
Oh, sure. Sure. Why not?
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. So I will send to you further after this session ends. Okay. Let's take the first photo. 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Yes. One more.
Okay, one more. Okay.
Okay. In 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that's all for it. Thank you very much, Doctor, for the participations and your time for this mini CX. I hope you have a good time ahead and stay healthy, Doctor.
You too. Take care. Bye.
Yes. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.